Haida is the language of the Haida people, spoken in the Haida Gwaii archipelago of the coast of Canada and on Prince of Wales Island in Alaska. An endangered language by the Book of UNESCO, Haida currently has about 20 native speakers, though revitalization efforts are underway. At the time of discovery of the Haida Gwaii in 1774, Haida speakers estimated about 15,000. Epidemic soon led to a drastic reduction in the Haida population, which became limited to 3 villages: Masset, Skidegate, and Hydaburg. Positive attitudes towards assimilation combined with the ban on speaking Haida in residential schools led to a sharp decline in the use of the Haida language among the Haida people, and today almost all ethnic Haida use English to communicate. Classification of the Haida language is a matter of controversy, with some linguists placing it in the ʻhaɪdə language family and others arguing that it is a language isolate. Haida itself is split between northern and southern dialects, which differ primarily in phonology. The northern Haida dialects have developed pharyngeal consonants, typologically uncommon sounds which are also found in some of the nearby Alaska.An and Wakashan languages. The Haida sound system includes ejective consonants, glottalized sonorants, contrastive vowel length, and phonemic tone. The nature of tone differs between the dialects, and in Alaskan Haida it is primarily a pitch accent system. Syllabic laterals appear in all dialects of Haida, but are only phonemic in Skidegate Haida. Extra vowels which are not present in Haida words occur in nonsense words in Haida songs. There are a number of systems for writing Haida using the Latin alphabet, each of which represents the sounds of Haida differently. While Haida has nouns and verbs, it does not have adjectives and has few true adpositions. English adjectives translate into verbs in Haida, for example, ʻhaɪdə good, and English prepositional phrases are usually expressed with Haida relational nouns. For instance, Alaskan Haida ditkw, side facing away from the beach towards the woods. Haida verbs are marked for tense, aspect, mood, and evidentiality, and person is marked by pronouns that are cliticized to the verb. Haida also has hundreds of classifiers. Haida has the rare direct inverse word order type, where both SOV and OSV words orders occur depending on the potency of the subject and object of the verb. Haida also has obligatory possession, where certain types of nouns cannot stand alone and require a possessor. History. The first documented contact between the Haida and Europeans was in 1774, on Juan Perez's exploratory voyage. At this time Haidas inhabited the Haida Gwaii, Dull Island, and Prince of Wales Island. The pre-contact Haida population was about 15,000. The first smallpox epidemic came soon after initial contact, reducing the population to about 10,000 and depopulating a large portion of the Nistins dialect area. The next epidemic came in 1862, causing the population to drop to 1,658. Venereal disease and tuberculosis further reduced the population to 588 by 1915. This dramatic decline led to the merger of villages, the final result being 3 Haida villages, Masset, Skidegate, and Hydaburg. In the 1830s a pidgin trade language based on Haida, known as Haida jargon, was used in the islands by speakers of English, Haida, Coast Tsimshian, and Haida. The Fraser Canyon Gold Rush of 1858 led to a boom in the town of Victoria, and southern Haida began traveling there annually, mainly for the purpose of selling the women. For this the Haida used Chinook jargon. This contact with whites had a strong effect on the southern Haida, even as the northern Haida remained culturally conservative. For instance, Skidegate Haida were reported as dressing in the European fashion in 1866, while northern Haida were still wearing bear skins and blankets 10 years later. In 1862, William Duncan, a British Anglican missionary stationed at Fort Simpson, took 50 Tsimshian converts and created a new model community, Metlakatla. The new village was greatly successful, and throughout the northwest coast the attitude spread that abandoning tradition would pave the way for a better life. The Haida themselves invited missionaries to the community, the first arriving in 1876. These missionaries initially worked in the Haida language. A Rev. John Henry Keane translated the Book of Common Prayer into Haida, published in 1899 in London by the Missionary Society. The Book of Psalms as well as much of the New Testament would also be translated into Haida. However, negative attitudes towards the use of the Haida language were widespread among the Haida people, even in the fairly conservative village of Masset where Keane was located. In an 1894 letter, Keane wrote, "These people would fain have the services etc. entirely in English. It has been by sheer determination that I now have the whole service in the vernacular." Beginning at the turn of the century, Haida began sending the children to residential schools. This practice was most widespread among the southern Haida. Among the northern Haida it was practiced by the more progressive families. These schools strictly enforced a ban on the use of native languages, and played a major role in the decimation of native Northwest Coast languages. The practice of Haida families using English to address children spread in Masset in the 1930s, having already been practiced in Skidegate, the rationale being that this would aid the children in the school education. After this point few children were raised with Haida as a primary language. Status. Today most Haidas do not speak the Haida language. The language is listed as critically endangered in UNESCO's Atlas of the World's Languages in Danger, with nearly all speakers elderly. As of 2003, most speakers of Haida are between 70 and 80 years of age, though they speak a considerably simplified form of Haida, and comprehension of the language is mostly limited to persons above the age of 50. The language is rarely used even among the remaining speakers and comprehenders. The Haida have a renewed interest in the traditional culture, and are now funding Haida language programs in schools in the 3 Haida communities, though these have been ineffectual. Haida classes are available in many Haida communities and can be taken at the University of Alaska Southeast in Juneau, Ketchikan, and Hydaburg. A Skidegate Haida language app is available for iPhone, based on a bilingual dictionary and phrase collection, comprised of words and phrases archived at the online Aboriginal language database. First Voices.com. Classification. Franz Boas first suggested that Haida might be genetically related to the Tlingit language in 1894, and linguist Edward Sapir included Haida in the ʻhaɪdə language family in 1915. This position was later supported by others, including Swanton, Pinot, and Greenberg and Rulin. Today, however, many linguists regard Haida as a language isolate. This theory is not universally accepted. For example, Enrico argues that Haida does in fact belong to the ʻhaɪdə family, though early loanwords make the evidence problematic. A proposal linking ʻhaɪdə to the Yeniseian family of central Siberia finds no evidence for including Haida. Dialects. Haida has a major dialectal division between northern and southern dialects. Northern Haida is split into Alaskan Haida and Masset Haida. Southern Haida was originally split into Skidegate Haida and Nistance Haida, but Nistance Haida is now extinct and is poorly documented. The dialects differ in phonology and to some extent vocabulary. However, they are grammatically mostly identical. Northern Haida is notable for its pharyngeal consonants. Pharyngeal consonants are rare among the world's languages, even in North America. They are an areal feature of some languages in a small portion of Northwest America, in the Salishan and Wakashan languages as well as Haida. The pharyngeal consonants of Wakashan and Northern Haida are known to have developed recently. Phonology. Consonants (1) The plain stops are partially voiced in syllable initial position. Squared for some speakers occurs only at the beginning of syllables, while does not occur there, making them allophones of the same phoneme. Cubed in Northern Haida, chi historically developed into parawa, with gai then being reintroduced by occasional borrowings from Southern Haida, Twilingat, Tsimshian, and Chinook jargon. The actual realization of the pharyngeal consonants parawa varies with dialect. In Masset Haida they are pharyngeal fricatives, whereas in the variety of Alaskan Haida spoken in Hydaburg they have been described as an epiglottal trill and a trilled epiglottal affricate or an epiglottal stop respectively. In Alaskan Haida, all velar, uvular, and epiglottal consonants, as well as nlj for some speakers, have rounded variants resulting from coalescence of clusters with. Alaskan Haida also shows simplification of n to n when preceding an alveolar or post-alveolar obstruent and of sd to sl. In Skidegate Haida, x has allophone in syllable final position. Masset Haida phonology is complicated by various spreading processes caused by contiguous sonorants across morpheme boundaries, caused by loss of consonants in morpheme initial position. Vowels. The high vowels iiuu may be realized as upper mid to high and include lax as well as tense values. The vowels are rare in Skidegate Haida, only occurs in some interjections and borrowings, and only occurs in the two words talil 5 and tainang. In Masset Haida, and are both very common, are involved in spreading and ablaud processes. Alaskan Haida has neither of these but has a diphthong a introduced from contraction of low-toned ei and ag sequences. In Skidegate Haida some instances of the vowel a are on an underlying level unspecified for quality. Enrico marks specified a with the symbol at. Unspecified a becomes u after with I after alveolar and palatal consonants, and syllabic l after lateral consonants. This does not exist in Masset Haida. A small class of Masset Haida words has a new vowel in place of this unspecified vowel, which differs in quality from the vowel a. E is the short counterpart of a, and so can also be analyzed as a. Though quite variable in realization, it has an allophone when occurring after uvular and epiglottal consonants. The sequences ya and wa tend towards and for some speakers. A number of the contrasts between vowels, or sequences of vowels, and the semivowels j and with are neutralized in certain positions. The short vowels do not contrast after the alveolar and post-alveolar fricatives and affricates. Only one short vowel occurs in this position in Alaskan Haida, usually realized as b when further followed by j, and when followed by any rounded consonant. The contrasts of I with j and u with we are neutralized when preceded by velar, uvular, epiglottal consonant, as well as word initially before the glottal stop. No contrast exists between long high vowels and short high vowels followed by a semivowel. Thus, I is equivalent to ij, and u is equivalent to uw. Moreover, y is also equivalent to uj, and ju to iw. After consonants other than velar, uvular, epiglottal, ej, and u are also neutralized to I and u. Long vowels are shortened before syllable final glottal consonants, the high vowels iu, also before sonant consonants. Where productive, this is a late process that applies after the preceding neutralizations, so that e, g, q, r, j, the rock is realized as not. The vowels a and short o occur in nonsense syllables in Haida songs. Tone Haida features phonemic tone, the nature of which differs by dialect. The Canadian dialects have a tone system with low functional load. Unmarked heavy syllables have high pitch, and unmarked light syllables have low pitch. Gid, dog, gin, sapwood. Examples of marked syllables include su, among, ʻhaɪdə, tiny. In Masset Haida, marked low-tone syllables are more common, resulting from elision of intervocalic consonants. Compare Skidegate 7 accent to Masset 7 AAD, net. Some alternations may be interpreted as results of syllable parsing rather than marked tone. Compare Masset Gual. A muskrake to Qala. Be suspicious of where marks a syllable boundary. In Skidegate Haida, short vowels which do not have marked tone are phonetically lengthened when they are in a word initial open syllable. Thus Qan, grass becomes Qana, grassy. In Masset Haida, marked low-tone syllables have extra length, thus skin, thing, 7aww, mother. In Kaigani, the system is primarily one of pitch accent, with at most one syllable per word featuring high tone in most words, though there are some exceptions, and it is not always clear what should be considered an independent word. High-tone syllables are usually heavy. Phonotactics. The syllable template in Haida is V. In Skidegate Haida, the two unaspirated stops, pt, can occur in the syllable coda, while none of the other unaspirated or aspirated stops can. In Masset Haida, the unaspirated stops and affricates which may be in the syllable coda, pttsdk. In Alaska.An Haida, pttsdlkk, would be final. Q in loanwords may be nativized to 0. In Skidegate Haida, a long syllabic lateral may appear in VV position, e. g. tl, also. Historically, this developed from long e after a lateral consonant, but a few Skidegate words retain e in this position, e. g. ʻhaɪdə, inside lis, mountain goat wool. Syllabic resonants occur frequently in Masset Haida and occasionally in Kaigani Haida, but they are not present on the phonemic level. Orthography. Several orthographies have been devised for writing Haida. The first alphabet was devised by the Alaska Native Language Center for Kaigani Haida in 1972, based on Tlingit orthographic conventions, and is still in use. The linguist John Enrico created another orthography for Skidegate and Masset Haida which introduced 7 and 8 as letters and did away with the distinction between upper and lowercase, and this system is popular in Canada. Robert Bringhurst, for his publications on Haida literature, created an orthography without punctuation and numerals, and few apostrophes, and in 2008 the Skidegate Haida immersion program created another, which is the usual orthography used in Skidegate. Other systems have been used by isolated linguists. Haida consonants are represented as follows. Where conventions differ, their order is Enrico Masset, Enrico Skidegate, ANLC, Ship, Bringhurst. In the case of glottalized consonants, the second is Bringhurst's orthography. In ANLC orthography, CH is used for TS in syllable initial position, and a hyphen is used to distinguish consonant clusters from digraphs. Bringhurst uses a raised dot for the same. Quan Gang. The Enrico orthography uses L for the syllabic lateral in Skidegate Haida, e.g. TLL. Enrico uses a period for an unlinked consonant slot. RX are used for Gwaii in Enrico's Skidegate orthography since they generally correspond to in the other dialects. The following are how Haida vowels are written. Enrico uses it for some instances of A based on morphophonemics. Alaskan Haida also has a diphthong written A. Enrico and Amp Stewart use IEA for the vowels A that occur in nonsense syllables in songs. The Alaskan Haida orthography was updated in 2010 by Jordan Locklear.